What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. Now, I haven't covered much from this era, to be honest. At least that's what it looks like, because I'm always in the Ruthless Aggression era or the late Ruthless Aggression era and that stuff. Today, I figured, why not go back to the PG era? The time period where there was a lot of stupid stuff, yet there was some amazing stuff at the same time. The 2013 to 16 era is an era that I should cover more in the future. There's some good content from the era that I can make, like Alberto Del Rio's failed main event pushes, something like that. I remember someone reminded me of this in the comments section down below. I will make it soon because it's such a great idea. Plus, I thought of it like 2 weeks ago anyways, because I was watching the Royal Rumble 2013, and I figured, why did Del Rio fail as a main eventer? As for these three, they were the three biggest morons in WWE from late 2012 all the way up to June of 2014. Now, in this video, I cover 3MB. We're a three-man band. Oh my god, that song takes me back to WWE 2K14. To be honest, this looks like it'll be a weird video. For me to talk about 3MB, let me give you some background to its members. You guys already know Drew McIntyre because of my last video, but you guys don't know about Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal. First up is Jinder Mahal. Jinder debuted in May of 2011 as Great Khali's brother-in-law. I know, that's weird as hell. The two had a small alliance until the September 23rd episode of SmackDown where Khali faced Mahal. From there, he was in this feud with Ted DiBiase that I remember for some reason. Like, those two faced off in like December 2011 and January 2012 a little too much. At least that's what I remember, because they might have faced off only twice. Heath Slater, meanwhile, had just ended his partnership with Justin Gabriel, and he became the one-man Southern Rock Band. Slater was mostly a jobber to the mid-card guys, and he barely won a match. Now, Slater during this time period began a small feud with Florida. It began at WrestleMania. I'm gonna talk about it right now. It's not that long, and plus, it's funny to me. It's so damn stupid, I just had to mention it. Josh Matthews was about to interview Florida, but then Slater demanded an interview for himself. Florida then came out of his room and Slater greeted him. The one-man Southern Rock Band wanted to have a duet with Florida. He then listed many other musical positions which Florida turned down. He then asked if there was anything he could do. Florida said that Slater could hold his mic for him. Oh, this didn't sit well with Slater, and he was about to do something about it when Florida shoved Slater into the wall while Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex were giggling around. From there, I believe on social media, Florida began like ridiculing Slater and vice versa, Slater doing the same thing. But one of the most memorable things from this feud for me, even though it wasn't even a feud, I barely consider it a feud, was when Slater claimed that Florida, because he calls him Florida, is at the arena that night. He proceeded to enter some room and shout at a hoodie-wearing man that looks like Florida. This backstage segment made me burst out at the time because of how ridiculous it was. I mean, he threatened him and everything, but that wasn't Florida. Who is he trolling? That's a funny segment. I recommend you go see it because it's so stupid. You'll either laugh at this backstage segment or you'll just say it's so damn dumb. Anyways, Slater in June of 2012 began challenging WWE legends in the weeks leading to Raw 1000. It was made to look like a joke in every single match. I haven't gone back and watched any of them, but I remember even Cyndi Lauper came out and smashed a gold record over the one-man Southern Rock Band. The final legend Slater faced was Lita on the 1000th episode of Raw. Every single one of those legends came out to help Lita win the match, and the APA even came out too. Slater was a joke, and from there, he was just floating around being a jobber to guys like Randy Orton. But on the September 21st episode of SmackDown, Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre interfered in Slater's match with Brodus Clay. They assaulted Brodus, and it looked like this was a new faction that was formed. In the coming weeks, Mahal and Drew accompanied Slater to his matches, and they always interfered and assaulted Slater's opponent. They were initially called the Band, but they changed their name once they realized that Kevin Nash and Scott Hall had the exact same name in TNA, I believe. After assaulting Santino Marella on the October 1st episode of Raw, each man called themselves their nicknames. They said, I'm this guy, I'm this guy. Drew even called himself the Chosen One, which is quite funny to see because at this point, he was far away from being the Chosen One. Alright, let's move forward to 2 weeks later. Right after his tag match against the Primetime Players, Zack Ryder was attacked by this trio. Slater then grabbed the mic and said that they should put back the music in the Music City. He then introduced himself and the faction as 3MB to the audience. Hold on. Now, there was one guy from India, a guy from Scotland, and a guy from Florida. That is pretty random. Later that night, they walked into a bar and they went up on the stage. They decided to give a performance to the people in the bar. Right when they were about to begin, security kicked the trio out. So much for a performance. 3MB over the next couple of weeks went undefeated. They beat the likes of the Usos and Santino and Zack Ryder. They started dressed up as rock stars, and Jinder claimed to be the class clown of 3MB. On the December 12, 2012 episode of Main Event 12-12-12, 3MB didn't like the fact that they didn't get invited to perform at a benefit concert for Hurricane Sandy. They mentioned some musical names that were at the event, and the trio then gave everyone a demo of their first single. Look at them, what morons. That Sunday was TLC. 3MB were invited to be guests on Miz TV. Now, the trio didn't like the fact that The Miz called them a train wreck, and Drew McIntyre also said that 3MB is way better than Jay-Z. Yup, Jay-Z. Slater then said that the Rolling Stones wish that they could rock out with 3MB. He also announced that 3MB will perform live at the Slammies. Miz then said that that is the bathroom break for the Slammies. The trio then made fun of the Spanish announce team for not speaking English. They then saw them speaking in Spanish and they went up to them. Slater said that in this country, we speak American. Yup, he said that. McIntyre even shoved Carlos Cabrera, and this led to Ricardo Rodriguez coming out, and 3MB decided to bully him. They were about to kick his ass when Alberto Del Rio came out and gave them an ass whooping. He literally went right through them. He slammed them on the ground. He's kicking their ass, all that. But then 3MB ended up gaining the advantage, and they threw Del Rio into the ring. They continued their assault on the Mexican aristocrat when Miz decided to get involved after they shoved him by accident, I think. With Del Rio, they cleared the ring of 3MB. The one-man Southern Rock Band didn't like this, and he challenged Miz and Del Rio to a 6-man tag team match for later that night. The duo accepted and they began looking for a partner. It ended up being the Brooklyn Brawler, and 3MB lost the match. The 3-man band from there were mostly a mainstay of Saturday Morning Slam and Main Event. They were appearing regularly on Raw and SmackDown though. It's just they mostly competed on the B&C shows. On the first Raw of 2013, 3MB announced that they are entering the Royal Rumble match. Slater even said that one of them is main eventing WrestleMania. The thought of one of the 3MB members main eventing WrestleMania is funny to me. Wait, isn't that happening? The following week, the trio faced Sheamus in a over-the-top rope match. Sheamus threw out both Mahal and McIntyre, but then he failed to eliminate Slater because McIntyre and Mahal pulled Sheamus out of the ring. I swear to God, I was literally expecting Sheamus to win this one. I swear. I never watched this match before, or I don't remember it, but once I seen it, I was like, Sheamus is gonna kick Slater out and he's gonna win this one. But they won. That's a monumental victory for the 3-man band. 3MB celebrated, but then Sheamus crashed the party and delivered that bro kick to both McIntyre and Slater. On the final Raw before the Royal Rumble, every top guy in the roster claimed that they're winning the Rumble. 3MB decided to come out and McIntyre called everyone delusional. They ended up getting into a brawl with everyone on the roster, and around that time period, 3MB guaranteed that one of them is winning the Royal Rumble. I watched this Rumble about 3 weeks ago, and I was laughing when the commentary team mentioned that they guaranteed they're winning. Because what kind of guys guarantee they're winning something? Like the top guys, it was guaranteed something and it happens. But for 3MB, well, let me just talk about it right now. McIntyre entered at number 6 and he lasted for about 3 minutes before Y2J drop kicked him out. Slater entered at number 10 and he lasted for about 16 minutes, which is quite good, but then he was thrown out by John Cena. What a throw that was. Jinder entered at number 27 and he lasted for 2 minutes before being eliminated by Sheamus. I'm not gonna lie, I actually was rooting for 3MB a couple of weeks ago. I know they were gonna get thrown out anyways, but they're entertaining despite being jobbers. 3MB from there jobbed to the top guys like John Cena, Sheamus, and Ryback. I also remember them facing Randy Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show in a WrestleMania warm-up match for that trio. Now, the 3-man band unfortunately missed WrestleMania 29. They could have gotten involved, but then again, Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow's tag match was cut entirely from the show, so there's that. I mean, remember that? They got cut off the show because there was not enough time. But for 3MB, I think they should have been in a backstage segment or something stupid like that. Alright, after WrestleMania, Triple H was cutting a promo in the ring, which led to 3MB coming out. Slater shut up Triple H, and he said that for someone to get noticed in WWE, they have to jump one of the big dogs. Slater then said that 3MB is gonna rock Triple H's face. As they were about to enter the ring, the Shield made their way down to the ring. Well, I guess it was 6-on-1. Like, Triple H has absolutely no chance against the Shield and 3MB. The Shield then decided to kick 3MB's ass and attack Triple H themselves. This one's a pretty memorable moment for me. I remember watching this and just thinking that this was hilariously stupid. This lets a Team Hell No coming out and equalizing the numbers, so Triple H wasn't alone. Another memorable moment from 3MB's run came on that week's Raw. The trio called out the Shield because of that assault they got on SmackDown. By the way, why does Slater call Triple H Triple H? McIntyre then said that the Shield should deliver a handwritten apology to them. Just imagine Roman Reigns being scared of 3MB and writing an apology note to them. They got Brock Lesnar instead. Lesnar grabbed Slater and threw him out the ring, and he then gave Jinder a belly-to-belly, and McIntyre was given an F5. Lesnar then noticed Slater trying to run away, and Slater ran into a clothesline from Lesnar. He then F5'd him on the barricade. Lesnar then hit a second F5 to Slater on the barricade, and Paul Heyman begged him to stop. The fans then chanted one more time, but Lesnar decided that's enough. The three-man band from there didn't really have a memorable moment. I mean, they were on Raw and SmackDown sometimes, but there really wasn't that memorable moment until the November 11th episode of Raw. On that night, the three-man band renamed themselves to the Union Jacks. They faced Santino Marella and Los Matadores. Mahal ended up losing that match for 3MB, and the following week they once again changed their names, but this time to the Rhinestone Cowboys. They faced R-Truth and the debuting Xavier Woods, and they once again lost. I mean, once they faced some kind of established wrestler, 3MB always lost. The faction from there continued wrestling the likes of the Usos, Los Matadores, and R-Truth and Xavier Woods on Superstar. They wouldn't wrestle on Raw until the first episode of 2014 where they faced Too Cool. I don't even remember this one, to be honest. I thought Too Cool first appeared on NXT because remember that first NXT arrival they faced the Ascension? I thought that was the first time they appeared that year. Anyways, they lost that match and they didn't wrestle on either Raw or SmackDown for 2 months before facing the Shield in a tag team match. It was clear that they didn't win that match, and after that, they finally appeared at WrestleMania. 3MB was finally at the big stage. They participated in the first Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Obviously, they got eliminated, but only one man eliminated them. It was Mark Henry. Following WrestleMania, the faction added a fourth member. It was Hornswoggle. He became their mascot and he feuded with El Torito, who was with Los Matadores. The feud between El Torito and Hornswoggle made it to the pre-show of Extreme Rules, and they faced off in a WLC match. That match was awesome. It was way better than it was supposed to be. Now, I haven't went back and watched it, but for a pre-show match, it was a classic. Like, how many pre-show matches do you remember? It was simply entertaining. Torito and Swoggle faced off in another match at Payback. This time, though, it was a wager match, a mask versus hair match. Swoggle lost, which meant that he's losing his hair. 3MB's final appearance as a group came on the June 9, 2014 episode of Raw. They got utterly destroyed by Reigns and Ambrose, and on June 12th, Jinder and Drew were released from WWE along with like 10 other people. Even JTG got released that day. He was always on the brink of release, but he managed to escape, but sadly, this time though, he was released. As for Drew McIntyre, his release was seen by many as a sad one. I remember at the time people thought that he had potential and the release was seen as shocking. I thought it was shocking too because he was considered the chosen one and everything. Despite being a jobber, I still think 3MB were a focal point of WWE in a way because they were the star jobbers. Now, I found this is an interview that McIntyre had with Kathy Kelly last August, and I quote, "Yeah, I mean, I was shocked initially because myself, Jinder Mahal, and Heath Slater, the 3MB, were on literally everything. All the live events, all the television shows. We were heavily featured, so I was surprised. But at the end of the call, I said, that's cool, I appreciate it, and I'll see you down the line. I meant it." McIntyre also spoke on reinventing himself. He said this, "I got off the call, sat and thought about it a while, spoke to a couple of my buddies who had also been released, and asked their opinion. They told me what everybody does is you get released, and you start working for these smaller companies around the world. You play the WWE character you were doing on TV, and you make X amount of money at first. And then as you come around the second time, it goes down, third time it goes down, and you'll find a wage you could live on." To me as a businessman, that sounded insane. I was like, well, no, I'm not going to do that. I've got to reinvent myself. I've got to, put up or shut up time. Apply all the lessons I've learned over the years, show everybody what I can truly do, and I can truly be a main event player. And you've got to give it your all right now, and I'm not gonna go this way down. I'm gonna go this way up. And within an hour, I had arranged my first appearance in the UK for ICW. McIntyre left and reinvented himself. He didn't want to be the same guy he was when he first left WWE in June of 2014. He went straight to ICW, and he had that memorable promo. Now, I'm not very knowledgeable on his run in ICW and Impact, but I'll be sure to learn about some of that stuff for the next video, because the next video is about how Drew McIntyre made his way back to the main roster of WWE. Now, looking back, it's hard to reinvent yourself once you're out of WWE. Remember Sandow? He didn't succeed in doing so. There's always that buzz in a wrestler debuting on the indie scene once he leaves WWE. WWE. But when the smoke clears, it depends on that individual's talent to make themselves a star. It's like removing the training wheels off a bicycle. You've got to have the tools to succeed on the indies or you'll become irrelevant. Now, Slater after 3MB formed Slater Gator with Titus O'Neil, and he once again confronted Florida, and that didn't work out for him. So yeah, that's it for this video. Make sure you hit a camel clutch on the like button and perhaps a future shock DDT on the subscribe button. Peace, I'm out.